Hi, this is the Four Seasons of Film podcast, episode number 422. What have we been watching lately, number 46? And apparently, I don't know what digital video looks like. Tune in for a list of new watches and recommendations from our host, Nathan Robert Blackburn, and me, Andrew Pesha, his sidekick.
Did you know that Kel O'Neill was the original Paul Dano in There Will Be Blood?
No and no.
And you don't know who that is?
Yeah, that was the first no.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm going to wing this because this is obviously the Four Seasons of Film podcast, but this is, I can't get Watch What Happens Live out of my head. This is not Watch What Happens Live. This is what have we been watching lately?
46.
Number 46. We haven't done an episode since Barbenheimer.
That was a big podcast.
And then we didn't even really do, that wasn't Watch What Happens Live. Damn it. That wasn't, whatever. It wasn't What Have You Seen Lately? This is. So this is kind of a grab bag, a hodgepodge of different movies. For the last few months, because we've been out of commission, we've been in Los Angeles, yeah, man. It's sort of the race. Most of the movies I'm watching lately, I'm kind of obsessed with World War II movies, circa 1950.
Okay.
Again, I go through phases with these movies, which is funny because I'm not working on a World War II script. I have one that I could work on.
Yeah, it's there.
I'm working on my 1970s Hollywood script, but I'm not watching a ton of movies from that era. Which is funny because it's a race between me and Tarantino's new 70s Hollywood flick. Let's see which one comes out first.
The critic, right?
The movie critic, I think it's called.
Critic.
Yeah. Allegedly his last film. We'll see.
Yeah, Motley Crue.
Motley Crue has done this before. Not a lot of movies in the theater. Actually, I think Oppenheimer might have been the last movie I saw in theater. Lots of movies at home. Lots of new first-time watches from me. How about you?
First off, I forgot my little handy dandy planner.
Where is it?
It's in my office, but
I can vamp while you go get it.
I don't think it's going to help. I haven't. The last few weeks have been not that good with record keeping.
So this is basically just me.
No. Let's see. What have I watched? I watched Django. I watched a Tarantino movie.
I think it's called Django Unchained.
Django Unchained.
Because Django is a movie with Franco Nero in it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
From the 60s.
Got to be proper.
You just have to be correct and give credence and adhere to tradition.
All right. Django.
Actually, just use knowledge.
I am using knowledge. I'm using my brain right
You've
now
already
to remember.
offended. We're 5 minutes in. You've offended me already.
We're maybe like
not
3.
even 5 minutes. So you watch Django Unchained. We're just get them all out of the way so we can get to my movies.
I went through a little Tarantino run there because we watched the Kill Bills.
No, we kind of watched them all when we were in LA at the end of the night or having coffee.
And Inglourious Bastards, I watched that. Let's see what else. And then we watched a bunch of movies together. I'm just thinking about like what
allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, let's go through your list because some of those are mine too.
I would say I watched these. You might have been there. Your eyes might have been open.
Depends on the movie. There's a couple where
I just maybe go through the first time watches on this first. And you stop me when you want to talk about something.
Okay.
I watched Milos Forman's Ragtime from 1981.
I love Milos Forman.
You love who?
Milos Forman.
Could you talk into the mic, please?
Milos Forman.
Okay.
I was trying to say it away, so if I fucked it up.
I finally watched The Jazz Singer for the first time from 1927.
Let's talk about that. It was the first film to receive the Movie of the Year Academy Award, right?
Not even close.
It's the first talking picture. Yeah, there you go. I was talking about 1921. Man.
Oh my God! I wish I had the rosary.
All right, now it's been 5 minutes. Then.
The Jazz Singer, 1927. Some might say the first movie that had talking in it, the first talking picture, and it wasn't. It was just the most commercial. And the one that was released by a major studio. There had been tests and movies in the past that had come out that had tried it. It's about the son of a Jewish cantor who must defy the traditions of his religious father in order to pursue his dream of being a popular singer. Folks of this fans of this podcast probably just turned this podcast off.
I didn't know that's what that was about.
Because we're starting with the jazz singer. After all this, you go, the jazz singer, fucking...
Well, first off, I got it confused with a different movie, obviously. And then secondly, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why it's important.
1927. Anyway, yeah. So I've always wanted to see this. I've actually quoted this in a short film. The Hollywood history about this when I was in film school. It's one of those movies that I think I've always said I've seen and lied.
So I have a lot of those. So
I finally sat down and watched it after I saw Babylon for the fourth time.
Yeah, I was there. Just saying, it counts.
And I gotta say, it disappointed me.
The fourth time, I thought each time you would like it a
little
bit
the
more.
Jazz singer.
Oh, the jazz.
I'm not talking about Babylon again.
Oh, okay. That's why I was shocked by that. Okay, you didn't like the jazz singer?
It's not that I didn't like it. I appreciate the hell out of it. First of all, it's a horrendous blackface at the end with Al Jolson. So that really some things you can't even unsee when you go, wow, we should not be doing this now. I know they didn't. They didn't quote know better back then, but fuck that. Oh my God, that's how the movie ends. And also, it's not a talking picture. There's a couple sequences when Jolson sings that the track comes in and you hear him actually singing, and then maybe one sequence where he has dialogue with his mother and she doesn't have a mic.
That is interesting.
Everything else is still has the titles, and they all just pantomime, and then they cut to the scripted titles.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you got to start somewhere.
Well, you got to start somewhere, but it was pretty schlocky and pretty boring, kind of like an over sentimental, way too over sentimental. And of course, it's the time, but you're also talking about an era that had really very great dramatic movies. So it doesn't get a pass just because of the sound thing. It's still, the story's pretty weak and it's schmaltzy.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
not that you're going to see this. Why am I wasting time on this?
I was going to until this non-glowing review of it.
I mean, you have to see it. It's a staple of filmmaking history. You must see it. But I actually thought it was very hilarious that I was watching it going, this isn't even that good a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just most, like you said, most glamorized talkie.
And Jolson's good in it, and he's supposed to be like this amazing one-man band, but he's no better than any other, band leader back then. It was the thing that shocked everybody.
Right. Yeah, okay.
There's that scene in Babylon, not that I want to talk about it, where, Jolson, he starts singing tweet, 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 for the first time, and he's singing, the audience just goes nuts, and they stand up and cheer, and I get that. I would probably have back then, it's 1927 for God's sake.
Right.
It probably was fucking amazing. It's like that the great train robbery, and people started like freaking out. The people were, firing guns at the screen. They started ducking and shit.
Right, yeah, they thought they were getting run over by a train. I know that movie.
But the jazz singer sucked. No, I'm kidding. It doesn't suck. It's just, I thought it was going to be an amazing piece of work. I thought it was going to be groundbreaking and all that, and it kind of just was a B movie with an okay performance by a popular entertainer at the time, and kind of I can see why people thought sound was gimmicky, because that looked gimmicky. It seemed gimmicky to me.
That totally makes sense. And you know what? Honestly, I would have those same expectations going into it too. It's like, all right, let's see what this is all about.
We should have a little timer where like every 5 minutes we have to move on to another movie.
I mean, I have my
phone. I also watched the new Little Mermaid movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You didn't see this?
No, I haven't yet.
Surprisingly, one of the better of these Disney live action remakes.
Okay.
Even still, I will still argue to this day, there's no need for these.
Right, yeah.
You can just watch the original, and I'm going to underline masterpiece is the original Disney animated movies are masterpieces, especially something like Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, the Lion King, Aladdin. These are untouchable masterpieces of animation and filmmaking history.
Right.
Why do you remake them and then call them live action when everything is CG'd and green screened?
Well, I think, I was thinking about that when you said you watched it.
Cash grabs.
Well, don't get me started on those.
No, you'll just mention Barbie again.
But I digress. But these movies, I think it's just like it's updating it for the new, because it's like CGI is the new animation of this time, I guess. So it's just like,
Please don't say that again.
I know it's horrible. I was trying to think about it, like what's the rationale?
My heart is going cold. You must be Ursula. You're freezing.
I don't know. Am I?
You're freezing my warm heart to go cold against my industry.
I'm
when
not.
you say things like CG is the new animation.
Well, I was just, who knows? I was just trying to rationalize it.
A young mermaid makes a deal with a sea witch to trade her beautiful voice for human legs so she can discover the world above water and impress a prince. Okay, yeah, so it is basically just a shot-for-shot remake of the amazing masterpiece. Highlights, of course, are Haley or Halle Bailey. She is unbelievable. And when she sang part of that world, it had me in tears because she is so good.
Oh, that's
she
awesome.
is so good. Javier Bardem, don't watch it if you're a fan because it's like they lowered him in on like with a crane against a blue screen or a green screen, and he just kind of sat there and delivered his lines like a robot.
Who was he?
He was King Triton.
Get the fuck out of here.
It made no sense. I felt so bad for him. I felt so bad watching him. It was actually Can
he sing?
He couldn't even move.
No dancing. Oh, that's what dude. Everyone was just probably just wearing like CGI socks.
And Melissa McCarthy, basically, she was the only one that was doing an impersonation of the animated character she was portraying.
Okay, so she tried to do that, like,
and they even cut out
voice.
They even cut out lines from it. She has that famous, poor unfortunate soul song, and they cut out the greatest line that I always sing. And don't underestimate something of body language. They cut it out. And I was going, why did they?
That's weird.
It's probably something about body shaming or something, but I thought she was proud of her body.
Yeah, I thought so too. Ursula's, she takes no shit from anybody.
She's a hip chick. She's a hip lady.
I mean, you look at that hair. Even from back then, I assume it's the same hair.
And Jonah Howard King, who played Eric, he was charming and dashing and everything. I mean,
was he the only character that didn't have like some part of CG to him?
I mean, he was on land, but all the backgrounds in the kingdom and everything looked like it was fake as shit too.
Well, no, I was just thinking because, like, I'm sure, like Sebastian and Little Tuna, whatever the fish's name.
Little Tuna.
I just came up with that.
Ding.
Every 5 minutes, there's the offensive.
And Daveed Diggs as Sebastian actually was, he had the role, he had the charisma and the accent and everything. He was good, and I wouldn't kick this one out of bed. I thought, there's no way I want to watch this because I'm not a fan of these live action remakes.
What would you rather, these remakes or like the Maleficents and the what was that? What's that musical one?
Like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but what with Kristen Stewart? Like the Snow King, the Mountain Ranger.
Whatever that. Yeah, exactly.
I've seen it too.
I see the poster, but I can't see the title.
I actually would probably prefer those because they are reimaginings and they're not just telling the same story over again. So I don't know what's going on in those. I have to watch to know what's going on. And in these remakes, they're the same movie, just made a little crappier.
Now I'm thinking back because we've what they've done, Beauty and the Beast, right?
All right, I'm not going through this. Let's just move on.
But
please.
no, I'm just saying it's like everyone doesn't deviate, man.
But they've kind of gotten, like Beauty and the Beast had Emma Watson in it. That's a pretty big coup to get her in that movie. And they've slowly just had stars in supporting roles, but they kind of tethered off when it came to, holy shit, we have this person starring in this thing. Which I do like because they're giving newcomers more of a chance to star in these things.
So if you want me to star in a Disney film, please, I'm available.
The Emperor Has No Clothes.
I'll do it.
See.
I'll do it.
Show a little skin.
Yeah.
I also watched Jennifer Lawrence's No Hard Feelings.
Oh, you watched it? I wanted to watch.
Oh, you didn't watch this?
No.
Oh, wow. So you haven't seen this?
No, I heard it was good though.
What, from who?
I mean, I like the trailer.
From whom?
No, I like the trailer.
I hate when people say that. I heard it was good. You didn't hear it from anybody.
I saw
You either read a review of it.
I like the trailer. There you go.
This movie actually made some money, and this was a return for Jennifer Lawrence as she had a baby and took some time off from acting. Got a lot of shit on the internet. Go figure, what doesn't anyway? But
right.
About this older woman sort of corrupting and statutory rape this young high school kid. The movie is about a
Well, I know it. I was interested.
It's about a kid who has helicopter parents that hire an older woman to shag him, shall we say, before he leaves home for college.
Like they explicitly like, listen, take care of my baby boy.
It's shocking to me that movies like this get made, and make a lot of money. And just reading that premise alone, you figured that everybody would there'd be propaganda, there'd be protests that would be like, no, this is not happening,
Right.
in this day and age.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's why you just have to do what you want to do with comedy. You cannot worry about offending anybody. Just go out and make your fucking movie.
Right.
And what I admire about this movie was, and what I admire about the trailer and all that was, it wasn't scared to go there. And I knew the movie was going to be R-rated. I knew they were going to have to go to the nth degree with the R rating, because otherwise it'd just be softcore fluff of, it should have been PG-13.
Okay.
But happy to report that it was funny, and J-Law has a good sense of timing. The other kid, Andrew Barth Feldman, he was fantastic in this as sort of the nerdy, smart kid who needs to get laid.
Okay.
But all in all, I actually enjoyed the movie. I didn't think I was going to, but the comedy was just kind of perfect for what it needed to be in this. And there actually was a lot of heart to it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they managed to get heart into this movie and also be raunchy at the same time.
Yeah. Was this done by anybody directing, writing wise, or was it just some newcomers too?
Gene Stupinski was the writer director. He also did Good Boys. Remember that movie with the
with the bad the littler Superbad?
Yeah, I mean I liked that movie too, but now they had the movie that just came out with the dogs that curse. It's like, let's do the movie with the kids that curse. Let's do the movie with the dogs that curse.
The dogs, but it's like, fuck, the dogs are cute. God damn it, they're getting me.
And honestly, his executive produced Bad Teacher, and that's kind of like, let's get a teacher that curses. So
I'm seeing a pattern, right?
Yeah, but I'm happy to report that this movie was a good watch, and I would watch it again. Because it falls in line with a refreshing R-rated comedy that gives you the middle finger if you complain that it's offensive.
Okay. From the trailer, I loved it. So I was wondering if it's, because sometimes it could just be just straight cheese grater.
Well, from the trailer, it kind of seemed like Jennifer Lawrence gets hit in the crotch a lot or something. So that's what I was worried about. I'm going, boy, this is going to be the movie where she just falls down like she's Chris Farley a lot or something. But it wasn't that. It was better than that. And yeah, I actually would recommend this one to you.
You know what? I just thought of another movie I watched. Carlito's Way. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, what's there to say about Carlito's Way? First of all, what year did that come out?
1985.
You want to take another guess at that, Chico?
1981.
We are way off, but that's okay. 1993.
They came out in 93?
You can't tell?
Well, I was like, I'm trying to figure out Sean Penn's age in it.
Sean Penn's makeup and Al Pacino right before Heat should give it away, because he's just about to say, great ass.
Which is one of my favorite lines in cinema history.
With his accent, he's the only one that gets away with this nowadays. I mean, the Scarface accent by a white guy. I mean, he's Italian, but and then what is he in this? Cuban, Puerto Rican?
Yeah, he's no, actually, what is, I forget what he is. I just watched it too, but
but you know what he is? He's transcended accents. He's Al Pacino in this.
Yeah, all right. But I felt like this was because I thought about it. I was like, this is just the other Scarface. Instead of Cuban, it's something else.
Yeah, but what would you take if you had to take one of those two movies?
Which one's that's tough, man. I mean, I felt like after watching Carlito's Way this time, I was like, man, I think this is actually a better movie than Scarface.
I think that Scarface is kind of like a black comedy, and Carlito's Way is a serious movie.
Right. Yeah. And like it's weird. And like with Sean Penn's performance, I think it's so good that like I like it, then I don't like it because he's just like a schmarmy fuck the whole time as the lawyer. And just,
I love his performance.
Oh, dude. And I never realized until this time, but that Slipknot song that says "Here Comes the Pain," that clip was from Carlito's Way.
Okay.
I thought that was cool. I was like, here comes the pain.
Yeah, that's what we call a 1%er out there, because nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, you have to have seen Carlito's Way, and then second you have to listen to
That's how boring you are, by the way.
I trailed off.
You
I
just
fell
told
asleep.
your own story and trailed off because you bored yourself. Wow.
Yeah.
I saw Hereditary finally.
Let's talk about this one.
2018 from the new auteur of horror. See how I did that?
Yes.
Ari Aster.
Ari Aster, yeah.
I saw it. It got in there, and the only thing I can remember about this movie is the ending.
Okay. So you felt like when it went for it. Well, what'd you think? I'm curious.
I mean,
everyone was singing the praises of this movie.
Spoilers. It's 2018. You should have seen it already.
Yeah.
When the little kid gets anointed, basically like, at the end, I just didn't think that the kid was strong enough to be anointed the new Satan or whatever.
Yeah, but it just passes down, right? It's just...
But you can skip a generation if the kid is a little weenie. He whined the whole time.
I know.
He was just a whiner.
I know.
He could have lived in Whinerville. There's a 1%. And nothing against the actor because I think that's just the role. But I just kept going, why this kid? And the script it wasn't even unsettling. I heard, Scorsese said it was one of the most unsettling movies he's ever seen. And I watched it and went, well, the beginning's fucked up, with the daughter and, and the driving and all that. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't suspenseful.
No, it wasn't as scary and it's like, but I think also too, like if you like horror films, I think, if you don't, your horror tolerance is a lot lower, So it's like, oh, it's eerie because I never watched these things. This is why.
Watch The Vanishing and watch Rosemary's Baby.
I've seen Rosemary's Baby.
And you put those two together, and I think you have Hereditary.
Which one's The Vanishing? Is that the one with Donald Sutherland?
No, we already reviewed it on this podcast. Why do we have to go over things more than 3 times?
Because that's how some people learn.
You don't.
But no,
1988. It's about the couple that goes to the corner store on vacation, and then the woman disappears.
Oh yes, we have talked about this. I remember it. I was thinking of a different movie because I always get that title messed up. But yeah, I thought like the movie. Remember that movie Mama? Speaking of J-Law.
Yeah.
Aronofsky. I thought that was a way more fucked up movie than Hereditary.
You mean Mother?
Mother, yeah. Mama's a different other one.
Butcher.
Another horror movie.
You're a butcher is what you are.
You changed a couple syllables, you got yourself a movie.
Actually, I will agree. Mother with J-Law is a way more fucked up movie than, except for Midsummer. That Midsummer's fucked up, but it's too long and it's trying to be too fucked up.
That's another one that everyone always praises, and I'm like, it's good. I like that better than Hereditary.
I always have that one friend that isn't a screenwriter, but always goes, I want to be a screenwriter because I can think of the most fucked up shit in the world. We should make a horror movie together. And those people don't make good screenplays. First of all, they don't ever write them. But that's what I feel like Ari Aster kind of does. How fucked up can we get here? And I don't know if in Midsummer, I think he earns it because that movie is kind of perfect for what it is, even though, the grad students sticking around.
Right, after the first couple things happen. Yeah.
I want to do my research project on this.
Oh, I'm sure this is fine.
But, it's he is a genius, and I can see why people love him. But it's kind of, for me, it tries too much and it's not subtle enough. And that's what I thought about Hereditary. They bill it like it's going to be amazing, and you watch and go like, oh, that wasn't anything.
It's not even shocking. I mean, yeah, okay, cool. All right. She's a Satan, part of a witch cult, and she's going to, there's some blood involved, but it's just like, it just was like,
and then Matthew Broderick's not calling the police, and it's all just, there's always this suspension of disbelief in his movies where there's an obvious thing where everybody would just be fucking out of there, and that's what I don't like about horror movies. That's that line from Scream. You're too busy running upstairs when you should be running out the door. I hate that because it's just so obvious that we have to be stupid to believe people would act this way in a movie, and I'm not stupid when I'm watching the movie.
Yeah. You want to know a really fucked up movie to watch?
Great.
It's this movie, I think it came out in 2015. I forget what country, but it's a foreign film. It's called Baskin.
Explain.
And it's like a SWAT team is supposed to supposed to go into a drug lord building, right, to go do a drug bust. But what they don't know is that what it sits on top of is a gate into hell, and so they go down into hell. And it wasn't the drug bust they were expecting.
What does hell look like?
Oh, dude, it's fucked. It's like like the reality in like Hellraiser times 1,000. Or the hell or whatever alternate, you know what I'm saying?
Or like Hell in Rocco's Modern Life.
Yes, actually, that is a perfect analogy. Yes, but not funny. Not at all. It was a pretty disturbing movie, and I was like, fuck, man. But it makes a lot of people's lists. So
2015 Baskin.
What country is it? Indonesian?
It doesn't list the country, but we will say that it is from a country that is not America.
Yes.
How about that?
100%.
I will not check that out, but thank you for giving me the disturbing images of the trailer.
You're very welcome. Maybe somebody will.
I think I liked Hereditary more than I'm letting on. When it got to the end, when the kid was the main thing, I went, nope, I'm not following him into battle, even if he is the new Satan.
Right.
Nope, I'm sorry, he whines too much.
Yeah, this Godfellow might be a little bit better, I guess.
Today's episode of the Four Seasons of Film podcast is brought to you by Phil's Coffee. Phil's specializes in handcrafted coffee made one cup at a time. Visit a location today or find them on the web at philscoffee.com. That's Phil's with a Z, coffee.com. Find the beans you're looking for.
Yeah, this Godfellow might be a little bit better, I guess.
I don't know if you watched this with me or not, but we also watched Elemental.
Yes,
I did. The new Disney Pixar movie.
Yes.
This is how I felt. A lot of people felt about the Pixar one, Soul, that I think I feel about Elemental, which is this wasn't my favorite one. I liked it, but it just didn't hit me in the feels.
That was my biggest criticism too, and me, I'm a soulless bastard. But this
why would you expect it to hit you in the feels?
Because they always do, man. They always do. They always get me, man. The Pixar's good about getting me. Lord of the Rings, the third one, and then Pixar movies.
I mean, I even thought the one where the kid turns into the mermaid, and he can't.
Oh yeah, the fish, thing. Yeah. I remember that one.
The fish, the thing.
No, not Finding Nemo,
but Elemental looked great, and it had all the recipes for what I thought was going to give me the feels, and it just never really got there for me, and I was kind of disappointed by that. And that's really not, they're not supposed to make you bawl the whole time.
No, and I thought the rest, if you remove that expectation, that the movie was actually pretty good. I know people were like, the trailer didn't make it seem as if it was going to be as funny as it was going to be.
I think if you have a character that's fire and water, and then by the end water evaporates, and you really have to care. You should be crying if you're losing water and fire is the cause of it. And it just didn't happen for me. The tears aren't coming. The tears aren't coming. But it was a good movie, and as always, a great script, and it looked great. But they all can't be Inside Out.
Right.
All right. And because Inside Out, you can just have to put on the first 5 minutes and I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who doesn't think about that elephant guy? Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters too, because if I would have made the trek to theaters and I watched Elemental, I would have walked out and been like, oh man, I thought that was going to be big on the emotions.
I want my money back. No.
Yeah.
No, you totally get your money's worth with it still.
You didn't pay anything for it. You watched it on Disney
but I'm
Plus.
saying if you did see it,
you should be on the Hall of Shame yourself.
Ding, 5 minutes.
I will talk to you about a movie called Winter Kills real quick from 1979. This is actually my endorsement for you.
I was about to say the title alone. I'm intrigued.
Winter Kills. It's not a horror movie, by the way.
No, it could be. I like thrillers. I like suspense. I like psychological movies.
Okay, so it's from 1979, starring Jeff Bridges,
Ooh, okay.
John Huston,
Okay.
Anthony Perkins,
Yes.
Eli Wallach, Sterling Hayden,
I know it's Sterling Hayden. Anthony Wallach. That's the only one so far. I'm doing good.
Toshiro Mifune has a cameo.
Okay.
I'm gonna samurai your ass.
Wait a minute. Was he in what was that Kurosawa film?
It was in every Kurosawa film.
There you go.
Every Kurosawa film. Unbelievable.
See, look at that knowledge.
It's written and directed by William Reichardt, and
That name sounds familiar.
I only found out about this movie because it was Tarantino was presenting a brand new print of it at the New Beverly in Los Angeles, which unfortunately I couldn't attend. So I figured, okay, if he went to all this trouble to restore it and put it back on film, I want to know about this movie. It's about the younger brother of an assassinated U.S. president who's led down a rabbit hole of conspiracies and dead ends after learning of a man claiming to be the real shooter.
Ooh.
So basically, they're telling the story of the Kennedys.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Okay, in 1979, and apparently the Kennedy family hated this fucking movie.
I bet.
Because it was basically saying they were the older Kennedy dad orchestrated the assassination of his son.
That makes sense to me, man.
And the cover-up that ensued afterwards, and what if one of the sons survived, and suddenly there was clues, and he had to go out and find out who actually killed the president of the United States back in the 60s, and it's not Kennedy, it's some other name,
right? Of course, yeah.
The movie's kind of a mess because they took it away from him. There's a whole story about the studio interfering in this. So, I mean, there are sequences that make no fucking sense. Scenes don't end, or they do end abruptly, and suddenly you're somewhere else. Cuts are terrible. I mean, they butchered this cut that I saw. They absolutely butchered it, but you can see the movie in there that's brilliant and genius and huge and suspenseful on large scale. It's like you never seen 3 Days of the Condor, have you?
I have not.
Of course you haven't.
Why? What? Then just fucking talk about it. Don't ask it.
That movie is kind of like brilliantly symphonically directed from beginning to end. And this movie, because of the way that they butchered it, you just run into a wall at every stop when it gets going. You're like, oh, all right, we're getting going here. And then suddenly something happens. You go, that doesn't make any fucking sense. What just happened? Oh, that's not the director. Somebody is trying to shorten this movie.
Well, it's unfortunate that happened, but you're endorsing like a maybe movie?
No, I think the Tarantino cut is it's like they found the.
Wow.
I think he either did it or orchestrated finding the real cut and putting it back together, and so we're going to see the movie that the director actually wanted to make for the first time.
That's pretty bitchin'.
But I'm glad I saw this version because it was still fucking amazing. Because I halfway through I went, there's controversy here because this movie does not flow like it should. This should be amazing. And sure enough, there's a documentary about how fucked up the movie got butchered, and there's all this shit behind it. It could have been the Kennedys that were orchestrating it to get butchered so nobody would like it. So it's all this shit. I got to watch the documentary about it. But
the documentary sounds bitchin' too.
I think you should watch it before we watch the new cut because it's just so fascinating to watch a movie that is fucked. And it wasn't anybody's fault but the people, the studio.
Yeah, the producers were like, no, you got to change it all, and this is what we want.
The gangsters involved in like the raising of the money. It's like the producer, they couldn't finish the money, so the director, he took out, he did another movie to pay for this movie, so they went back and finished this movie. I mean, it's just I can't wait to watch the documentary. It seems so unbelievably awesome.
Yeah,
and in the 1970s, I mean, it should be made into a movie about the making of this movie.
So I should do movie, documentary, then new movie?
Yeah.
And how long do I have to accomplish this task?
I don't know. It just premiered at the New Beverly last month, so who knows when it's going to be available on Blu-ray or on streaming. But look for it because I know you'll really like it. If you like good conspiracy movies or good thrillers about the government and that sort of thing. Yeah.
That's me, man. Oh, I also watched Escape from New York, because that was playing in LA. I watched it at home when it was playing at the New Beverly.
Man, I don't know. I love Snake Plissken, the character, but I've fallen asleep to that movie every time we've watched it. And I think we actually watched it really late night on a Saturday, and I made it all the way through, but I was pretty toasty. And I went through it, and didn't I say like that was the most boring movie I've ever seen?
Yes, you did.
I apologize for saying that because I was not in the right mind to say that.
Well, no, it's funny because the second one, Escape from LA, it's way shittier, but it's more action packed. So that's what you think you're getting versus like a good like The Thing movie.
I actually love Escape from LA.
Oh, dude, I
love it. It is ridiculous.
I remember seeing it in the theaters. I remember the little HBO special on the making of it. Like, dude, that was a big movie for me growing up.
When they start surfing, I swear to God, man. Don't they have sharks around them too?
Yeah.
I mean, something about that. And then at the ending of Escape from LA is the best because Snake Plissken literally shuts off the world's power.
Yeah.
The world. He clicks a button and nobody has electricity, and they won't for forever.
He took down an autocrat, and then he takes down the world in the second one.
He sent the world back to the Stone Age. And I think that's actually a line in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you click that button, you send us back to the Stone Age. And of course, he probably says an amazing one-liner there, and I can't remember what it is. But
Kurt fucking Russell too, man. He's such a good actor and
I know.
everything. Like I never like I always thought like of him. What's the movie with him and Goldie Hawn? The not Captain Ron.
Overboard?
No. Is it Overboard?
Yeah. The one that's very inappropriate now when you watch back because he lies to this woman.
That's right. He's like a carpenter or a handyman on the boat.
And he sleeps with her. And then it's basically, that's terrible.
And then he comes back and he's like, oh, I'm this big, redneck, in the woods. I'm a single dad, which, she loves the children in the end. But dude,
I think we were watching two different movies.
Maybe the filmmaking. But it's funny because that's before growing up, that's what I always thought Kurt Russell was. I didn't think of him as this badass like in this or
Snake Plissken. Escape from the Lake came out when you were like 5.
Well, real young, I guess. I don't know.
No, you don't. You don't make any sense.
But even like in Django, man, when he plays Hangman Ruth.
Wow. Okay.
Dang, 5 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, that made no sense.
Well, I offended it again. 5 minutes.
Oh God, there isn't. I don't have any more new releases that I want to talk to you about. Besides endorsing the shit out of T2 Trainspotting, the sequel to Trainspotting.
Yeah.
I was blown away. 2017, by the way.
I remember.
I was blown away by this movie. I cannot believe, because Trainspotting is an untouchable movie. It's brilliant. It's flawless. It is unbelievable. It still is unbelievable. To come out with a sequel that was that good and so different than the original. I mean, it is so not the same movie, but the actors were all brilliant. The script was great. The style. Danny Boyle is a fucking genius director. I mean, I was blown the fuck away.
I haven't heard you talk about a movie like that, like a movie like you did talk about it in a long time.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe
it. Was like you were a kid that just got done seeing his favorite film in the theater,
because it just picked up right where it left off, 20 years later, and the characters were the exact same, but they were 20 years older and in new predicaments, and they didn't fake it. They didn't try and get them all together for some stupid reason. It was so fucking. It was perfect. It might be the best sequel of all time.
Yeah,
it might be.
That's cool.
Yeah, nobody does it that well.
I know. I've only seen it the one time. I think we did it on one of the podcasts, right? I saw it.
If you saw it and reviewed it, then that's why I don't remember.
Probably. I think it was. Because what year did it come out?
2017.
Oh yeah, definitely covered that.
You definitely think you saw this?
Oh yeah,
and you don't even remember it?
I kind of do now.
Oh, that's just a shame.
I remember. Yeah, and now I remember.
Sort of obsessed with Danny Boyle now. I have to go back and watch all of his movies.
Oh yeah, I watched 28 Days Later. That was a first time watch for me.
I've only seen that once, and I remember nothing about it.
Go back and watch it.
Isn't it shot on DV, like crappy DV for the time?
Yeah, sure. Maybe.
It's like 2004, right?
Right. Yeah. No, it's not that bad. I wouldn't have known that unless you just told me that right now.
Well, that's very disappointing because when I go back and watch this, if it's shot in crappy DV, I'm gonna realize
shut up and enjoy.
You
the
have
movie.
no eye for cinematography.
Well, the story in Cillian Murphy is amazing in it.
I'm surprised you didn't say cinnamon.
I should have.
2002. Okay, so it's even crappier DV.
Is it on DV?
It has to be. I'm looking at the fucking. Oh my God! How did you not notice this? That's why he's a genius director.
How did you not notice? Fuck you.
No, there is a difference between 2002, 2004 digital video tape because the cameras were so new that you almost chose to shoot it on this crappy camera because it looked so crappy. Some people wanted to do it to just master it. Some people wanted to do it because it was a stylistic choice. And in the case of this movie, I think it was a found footage kind of thing because of the nature of
it wasn't found footage.
No. You're not. It's not found footage. I'm saying the style of it because he wakes up and then the world is ended. So to choose a movie that looked like a bird's eye view of how shitty and digital everything probably represented, I think that's exactly why he shot it on that. He could have shot it on film, but he shot it on DV. and like a camera you could get from Walmart.
I still liked it.
And I can't even believe you're not even mentioning the look of the camera that
What do
he
you
used.
mean?
You just watched it. God, I can't even understand how your brain works. Sometimes you go, oh, yeah, they look kind of weird. That's the number one thing they think about whenever they watch a movie. They go, that doesn't look like a normal movie looks.
Well, you know what? I'm not fucking everyone, I guess.
Did you watch it with one eye?
No, I watched it with both eyes.
Did you watch it with your ass? Like Ace Ventura?
You know what? I bet you there's other people in this world that didn't fucking. They don't know. Like,
you know who those people are? Stupid people.
Sorry, this vintage of film is a 22 instead of a 24.
It's 2002.
I know.
2002.
I already said 20, so I was like, fuck it. I gotta end it with a 2.
I'm fascinated by that era of film. I'm saying crappy TV not to take away from the director. What I'm saying, it's a choice, and I'm saying that people chose to stretch the medium of it doesn't have to look like 35 millimeter film. We can use, it's like Steven Soderbergh using an iPhone to shoot a feature.
Maybe they retouched it up with the 4K like redo of it, man. I don't know.
Can't fix that, Andy. You can't retouch up pixels.
Well, anyway, you know what? Don't watch it. I don't want to talk to you about this movie. Fuck you. I'll just keep this one to myself.
Oh my God. Just go back and look up the whole Mumblecore movie extravaganza.
I've seen Mumblecore. I'm hip to Mumblecore,
and
man.
all those movies are shot on because they didn't have any money.
It didn't look like that, man. It was actually a shot, stylized movie. You're making it seem like it's like we got drunk and like, hey, the world's ended.
Okay,
We just got done with a party. Let's shoot a little short film like the world has ended.
Yeah, but Attack the Block, it was not.
I don't even know what you're speaking gibberish to me right now.
Come on,
Attack
man.
the Block?
You've never seen Attack the Block?
No.
I thought I knew you. I thought I knew what you liked, but apparently...
Obviously, no. You have a very conflated thing, you're like, of what I like.
2011, Joe Cornish. Come on. Edgar Wright produced this movie.
Okay.
Oh, you are so disappointing.
Whatever.
John Boyega's his first role, if not his first role.
Okay, I know him.
And
I know Edgar Wright.
It's about a gang in South London defending their block from the aliens.
No, never seen
All right,
it.
fine. You have to go see it. It's fantastic. It's a great movie.
It sounds interesting.
It's not interesting. Think about.
Well, you know what? I'm going to shit all over your recommendation because hey, it's about aliens on DV.
It's shot. It's like Edgar Wright directed it, but he didn't direct it, but he produced it because he saw something in Joe Cornish that reminded him of his own directing. So it's like a bonus Edgar Wright movie.
Okay, cool.
Attack the Block. You'll like it because I know your brain, but I just don't know what you're looking at through your eyes when you're watching a movie. You have
this big conflated. Like now, I get what you're saying. It's like shot on DVD. No, you can't. I mean, sure, maybe it was shot on DVD.
Everybody noticed.
It's not like, hey,
everybody
found
noticed.
Footage. Like this is what this is shot on. This is what I was looking at the story of this dude waking up and the world is turned into a fucking zombie-filled world because of a disease.
And you didn't at all go, why the fuck does it look like this?
It's the end of the world, man. I don't know. I didn't think about it. I was like, what's the story? What's going on? And then seeing Cillian Murphy acting chops. Amazing.
5 times an episode, you prove your ignorance. And I think we hit number 5. So that's good. That's good. I think
we've hit number 5.
I think we've done
a long time ago.
We've done our job here. I don't want to talk about movies that I have seen not for the first time because I don't think I watched anything not for the first time that you would have liked to see because of your ignorance.
This is my ignorance. Whatever.
You want to talk about Angel in the Outfield?
Yeah, of course I do. Was that shot on DV?
There's nothing on this list that is a movie that I would say that you need to go watch again or for the first time besides the ones I've named. So that's what we've been watching lately, or should I say that's what I've been watching lately because this lazy bastard over here can open up his eyeballs.
Yeah, whatever. Like I tried. I gave some things,
stunted,
some movies that recommendations. But you know what? Last time I do that, learned my lesson. Yeah, I gotta check see if it's on DV or VD or
and you know how you do that? You open up your fucking eyelids.
It's not like You know what? You're making me feel bad. Like now, I feel
You
like
don't know what you're looking at. I know.
But watching it, I'm like, but no, you didn't. You don't remember what it looks like. I'm like, it's not that bad.
You can't tell the difference between.
It doesn't look like the Blair Witch or a fucking found footage shit, man. It's a movie. It's a fucking movie.
I cannot wait to watch it again and go, you are so full of shit. This looks just
Don't watch it with me. Watch it by yourself. This is one time when I'm like, hey, let's watch it together. I'm like, no.
And by the way, they used a mixture of DV and 16 millimeter in the Blair Witch. So of course it doesn't look like the Blair Witch.
Oh, you blow it out your ass.
You're the ignorant one, not me.
The ignorant one.
Yeah,
whatever.
You can't tell the difference between a movie that was shot in the 70s and 2002.
Excuse me?
Just from the way it looks?
Yeah, of course I can.
You can't tell now what a movie looks like that's digitally shot versus film?
Of course. This one wasn't that big of a stretch. It was kind of that in between.
And I'm saying you're dead wrong.
All right. Well, you know what? Actually, let's watch this back together again. Let's watch it together and we'll see. We'll just argue the first 10 minutes and then then the action starts.
Fine. We'll watch it together. I'll get 5 minutes in and go, look at this shot, Andy. And you're going to go, fuck me.
No, I'm going to be like, I'll double down.
Maybe I watched this without my brain.
It was late at night with the lights off.
All right.
Spooky time.
Thank you, as always, not you, but you out there for putting up with this heinous beast that assassinates filmmaking and film history and culture.
Hey, well, you know, that's instead of butcher, I'd rather assassinate than butcher.
And I'm going to go write the live-action remake of The Emperor Has No Clothes starring Andrew Pesci.
I'm in. Disney.
Just to see
it's yours. It's yours for good money.
Just to see you frolic through a colonial street, a cobblestone street naked in front of a crowd of people going, Mommy, he has no clothes on.
I would have so much fun that day.
The shame. Just the shame. Make sure it's extra cold. All right, anyway, thank you, Andy. And I can't believe I thanked you. That's like a knee-jerk reaction. But keep film alive.